Fuck you.
I've had this 25 years and I've never replaced the battery.
You're an asshole. Fucking jerk. Eat shit.
Never replaced the battery. My new one, I just broke. Shit. Well, it apparently is not going to last like, the new one, and it poured President Trump on it. But there's something mystical about this one. The final word, somebody gave me this the first seminar back in May of '93.
Fuck you.
And when you take it apart, and it has those two batteries in it, never replaced, unless somebody comes up here at night and replaces them. Yeah. Okay. Now it's the poor little assisted living thing we bought and rebought and kicked, and the mom and pop didn't own it, and now they're part of a 500 million one. And to answer some of your questions, and it's the same answers, and I show you how, unfortunately, the pitfall, what happens to a lot of the kids at the end of a cycle. But the idea is, even when you have a lot, like 20, for example, Apple, etc., they've got hundreds of billions in the bank, or a lot of money in the bank, right? Several of the big companies. Because they keep using their model and not their cash to buy shit. There's a message here. It's much easier to buy it with your cash, but it doesn't mean you should buy it. Now, Mr. Buffett says, and has said for decades, he likes keeping the cash in the bank in case he needs it sometime. Well, and a lot of the big companies, the Apples of this world and the Amazons, etc., continue to keep cash because it's better to borrow the money. Debt is good. Now, you've been taught the opposite. Don't have too much debt, because what happens? When you can't pay it back, then you have to get the assets back. But especially in the last 10 or 15 years, with interest rates so low, in the last 5 years, and I put it on my website, it must go on twice a day, Cat, cheapest interest rates in 5,000 years. And people, I get harangued by, why do you keep saying the same fucking thing over and over again, old timer? You got dementia? I keep saying it over and over again, monkeys, because it's the only thing that's important. There's 15 or 20 things I repeat twice a day, and have for days, weeks, months, years. Why do I keep? Because it's the only thing that matters. I don't have any quick cliche bullshit to say. And it's the cheapest interest rates in 5,000 years. And I equate it to giving away money. And that's not quite accurate. But I used to say when it was 20% interest rates, if 2 or 3% makes a difference on your deal, you don't have a deal. Now just imagine you trying to finance your bullshit things, that you fucking ideas, at 18, 20, 22, 24% interest. You couldn't, could you? It's not possible. That's why most of the kids that come to the seminar, most of the kids that come to the website, most of the kids that watch on YouTube wouldn't know a deal if it bit them in the crotch. Because they don't find deals that can fund them. They're self-funding. Self-funding. And as I told you at the first day of the seminar, 3,000 years ago, Macedonians had 40% interest rate. Now's the time to make, they used to say, make hay while the sun shines. I don't know if that saying's still around. But and the sun came out today, so we're privileged because the sun doesn't come out that often here. But so now we've got this deal. This mom and pop, they've stayed on for 6 or 18 or some amount of months. You now know the business, in theory, and you've got a $500 million deal. And as I said just before we broke for lunch, now you're looking for an industry expert. Now you guys are going to want to get out way before $500 million because you got no fucking money. You know, you're as they say. Do they say in Britain you're on your uppers? You know what that's a slang term. Meaning you're on the balls of your ass. You got nothing. So you're going to want to get out. And Meathead back there is already trying to get out. Okay, Meathead is already trying to get out on a one deal, right? On a one acquisition. Oh no, yeah. You're just seeing. Yeah. If the model works, and so it's got 500,000 cash flow, and he wants to take the fucker public. No, in candor, he's not the only guy that ever asked me that question. In fact, that question gets asked several times. How soon can you cash in? Or what you're really saying, how soon can I put some fucking money in my pockets? That's a reasonable question. But you have taken money out, remember, with cash distributions through bonuses. But you got to do a deal to do that. And I've already explained to you that why, even though owner finance is dynamite, terrific, with the owner finance 100% deal, you can't put any money in your pocket. So that's why then you got to refinance it. So I've taken you to that, but I mean, that little amount of cash flow is too little to do a deal. Now, you may be able to go to the Belarus Stock Exchange, if they got one. I don't know if they have one in Belarus, or the Taipei Stock Exchange, or some little obscure stock exchange, but that's not what I'm recommending, you know. The other thing, and we were talking about going public, you want where there's liquidity. You want where you can sell your shares. And the more liquid the market, the higher the multiple you're going to get for your assets. That's why the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, the London Stock Exchange are 3 of the highest in multiples. You're going to get the most multiple. So you're going to get the biggest arbitrage. We're buying them at 3 to 5 times EBITDA, and we're taking it public at 15 to 20 times EBITDA. And the multiples are much higher for IT companies. They're much higher for cybersecurity companies. A couple of you are involved in cybersecurity. They're much higher, but you're also going to pay higher, and it's harder to finance. So my recommendation is you start with what I call bricks and mortar business, and then you build up equity, so then you have more leverage when you do go public. So now you've got this, and I showed you how you're going to make sure that your stock you can sell. Now, if they throw you out, you can sell your stock. Like I got thrown out, so all my stock went, was instantly liquid. So I could sell, the day after I got thrown out, my stock became unrestricted. Although I didn't have restricted stock, but other than as a large shareholder, you can't just, and you're an officer in a company, you can't willy-nilly just sell stock into the open market. Okay. Any questions about that? And I haven't forgotten, Lord Olivier, I'm going to come back and answer your question, not now, but I haven't forgotten your question. Any question? Yes, sir.
When you're talking about working capital, you covered that earlier as well, but if the bank asks what you only use the working capital for, how you tell them that you're going to pay money to the directors and to yourself?
No. Okay. First of all, they rarely ask you.
In case they do.
Okay, in the case they do working capital, we're gonna new IT, and don't lie, don't make you're gonna put some money in IT. You're gonna put some money in cybersecurity. You're gonna put you're not gonna put all the money. If you get $200 million or $20 million, you're not gonna have $20 million worth of new fucking, laptops. Although I've seen almost as crazy things like that. You're going to buy new machinery. You're going to update. You're going to refurbish. If you're in manufacturing, you're going to refurbish buildings. You're going to. In some cases, you're going to prepay taxes. By one of the ways that that you can't prepay tax. I know you've never heard of that, but you can prepay taxes. You can, you don't have to wait until you get your tax bill. You can physically prepay taxes, and some people do. And then you want to have a cash balance. So it's working capital, but you want to have cash balance because you don't know an acquisition may come along where I want to have the money to be able to buy it, and they'll understand that. Yes, sir.
Why would you prepay taxes?
Well, it's obvious you wouldn't.
Not necessarily.
Most of your questions are all on. Anyway, you prepay taxes. Let's say that you're going to go. A buyer of your business may tell you, I want taxes prepaid for the next, estimated taxes prepaid for 2 years. They may tell you as part of the condition of sale, and they may have some reason. You don't know their reason, but depending on if it's not too onerous, you can prepay taxes. It's not a big deal. It's certainly not physically difficult to do. Most people don't. Most people play the cash flow game, waiting at the last minute to pay taxes. I understand that. That's human nature. It's like you have a whole semester to study for an exam, and you wait to the last 3 days or 3 hours or forever. And speaking of that, weekly reports are due on Sunday midnight, my time, UK time. So the first weekly report, I will get at least 50% of you. The reports will come to me between 11:50 and 11:59. 11:50 and 11:59. And at least 5% of you will be late. And if it says AM on it, 12 a.m., it's late, it's not accepted, it's a strike, I don't read it, I delete it. Well, Mr. P, it got caught up in my server, it got caught up in cyberspace, it got caught in the fucking cloud. I don't give a fuck if the devil took it off. It doesn't count. And those things do happen, and I don't care. So why do you wait till 11:59 to send me the fucking report? Because you're a dipshit all your fucking life. You're an 11:59 p.m. person all your life. And that default's hard to change. Again, I told you the best people they keep track of their activities on a daily basis. They may take notes 2-3 times a day. This is what I did. Because from the time you get up in the morning at 7 a.m. till 7 p.m., a lot of stuff you're going to be doing. Are you going to be able to remember it all? No. Okay, that's one day. Now you're 6 days into it. Are you going to be able to remember day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? No. So then the first weekly report you send me is going to be incomplete. And I'll put at the top of your report, next. That means I didn't read it. That means it's a strike. That means fuck you. Even after I made this speech. I make the speech again in the close, the last afternoon. But I'm still going to get the reports at 11:59. Why do you send me the reports at 11:59?
Because we're dipshits.
See, every once in a while I get the right answer, and it makes me crazy. It makes me crazy with happiness, And some of you want to get thrown out. Well, I oblige you, believe me. And no excuses. I told you about the girl that sent me a deal from intensive care, a picture. I still didn't accept it. She didn't send me a report about it, but it's just a nice picture. You almost died, but that's tough. That's tough. But the weekly reports. So now we've gone from the chairman. Now we're going to spend a good deal of time talking about the individual pitches, because one of the most important, remember, there's 5 moving parts, but the most important of the moving parts is the motivated seller. Without the motivated seller, you can memorize all the other shit and it doesn't make any difference. You got to get the mom and pop, to sell. The age demographic for, I don't care what industry you're in, whether it's healthcare or whatever, is 55 to 65 is our demographics for the most part. 55 to 65. Whether they're from Bangladesh or from Brooklyn. 55 to 65. Because ostensibly they have now worked 25, 30, 35, 40 years. They built up their little business. In some cases, a very big business. And they will have started being concerned about, the wife normally is the first one that's concerned, well, you can't do this forever. I mean, how much more can you work? How are we going to get rid of this asset? Their kids got nothing to do with them. You know, the kids already kicked the parents to the curb. The only time they go around is when they want money and shit like that. So how are they going to exit? I told you, don't talk in terms of succession plan. That won't resonate with them. You know, what are you going to do when you can't work anymore? Plan is what they understand. What are you going to do when you can't work anymore? Now, some of the old geezers like me, well, I'm going to work till I die, which I am. But then they'll sober up or get their brains screwed on straight, and they'll realize they have to get rid of the business. Now, some of the people that you talk to, let's say January 1, this will take till June 1 to resonate, and then you'll get a phone call. And Frank, who you heard the first day or so, is getting phone calls, people that he approached 9-10 months ago, that, you know, I've thought about it, and can we get together? I'd like to hear more about it. And then, of course, now Frank says, send me your tax returns. When you've already approached and they say, no, you know, thanks for the offer, but I'm not interested, and then they come back to you, now you can be very bold, say, oh, that sounds great, I'm really busy now, I'm buying companies, please send me your last 3 years' tax returns. 3 years tax returns. And what you really want, you don't need all the 25 pages. What you need is the summary or whatever the final 2 pages are. That's what you need. And a couple of the guys, just as I told you that they give a party at closing, not just for the team that did your deal, but the guys that didn't do your deal, and they do a party, they also invite companies that didn't sell to you, with the sellers that are there, and they meet, or, did he really do what he was going to say? Was he lying? And of course, now you don't bring the people to the deal that you didn't get along with. You don't send out a blanket fucking email, although maybe some of you would, a blanket email that goes to everybody that hates you is there, and they're saying that he's a lying, cheating thief. But the people that can represent that you really did what you said, and you said what you did. Okay, so now you've got these people 55 to 65 in your industry, in your vertical, in your slot, so to speak, and you will do research from association, and you're going to find out, for example, for dental practices, for veterinary practices, you want at least 4 vets. 4 vets. I know this. It says it in the association. It's where the economies of scale start to take effect when you got 4 veterinary doctors, 4 vets. So everybody that's got less than 4 vets is not on your list. Everybody that's 4 vets and more is on your list. Yeah.
How do you know that? But how?
Well, I know that because I've done no, because there's United States Veterans of America. There's an association, and they write papers, and Blackstone, the private equity people write papers, and goodbye YouTube, thank you.